In this video, we will be teaching you all about the amygdala and the cerebellum. We will start in the amygdala.
The amygdala is a collection of nuclei found deep within the temporal lobe. Although we often refer to it in singular, there are two amygdalae, one in each cerebral hemisphere.
The amygdala is recognized as a component of the limbic system. The limbic system is a set of structures in the brain that deal with emotions and memory, and it is thought to play important roles in emotion and behavior. It is best known for its role in the processing of fear.
We are exposed to a fearful stimulus. Information about that stimulus is immediately sent to the amygdala, which can then send signals to areas of the brain like the hypothalamus to trigger a fight or flight response. For example, the increased heart rate and respiration to prepare for action. Research suggests that information about potentially frightening things in the environment can reach the amygdala before we're even consciously aware that there's anything to be afraid of.
Amygdala also seems to be very important in forming memories that are associated with fear-inducing events. For example, if you take mice with intact amygdala and play a tone right before you give them an electric foot shock, they will very quickly begin to associate the tone with the unpleasant shock. Thus, they will display the fear reaction as soon as the tone is played, but before the shock is initiated. If you attempt this experiment in mice with lesions in the amygdala, however, they display an impaired ability to remember the tone and proceed to foot shock.
The amygdala might also play a role in anxiety. While fear is considered a response to a threat that is present, anxiety involves the dread that accompanies thinking about a potential threat. A number of studies suggest that the amygdala is involved in experiencing anxiety and that it may be overreactive in people with anxiety disorders. The amygdala seems to be involved with the formation of positive memories, and damage to the amygdala can impair the ability to form these positive memories.
Heinrich Kluwer and Paul Busse removed the amygdala of monkeys and saw drastic effects on their behavior. The monkeys became more docile and seemed to display little fear. The behavior that resulted from amygdala removal was called the Kluwer-Busse syndrome, and it led to the amygdala being investigated for its role in fear. They described the behavior they observed as psychic blindness.
Patient SM is a woman that has had complete bilateral amygdala destruction. SM has difficulty in experiencing fear in many typical circumstances, for example, horror movies or haunted houses.
Let's move on to the cerebellum. The cerebellum is located behind the top part of the brainstem, where the spinal cord meets the brain, and it is made of two hemispheres, halves. Pathologies of the cerebellum have long revealed that this part of the brain is involved in motor coordination. The cerebellum is divided into three regions, each of which is connected to a specific structure in the brain and involved in a specific function.
The archicerebellum first appeared in fish. It is connected to the vestibule of the inner ear and is involved in balance.
The paracerebrum consists mainly of the vermis, an actual structure, and is superimposed in the archicerebrum in amphibians, reptiles, and birds. The paracerebrum is connected to the spinal cord and controls postural muscle activity by influencing muscle tonus. To play its role in maintaining body posture, a muscle must be intense. The cerebellum therefore controls muscle tension at all times, releasing those muscles required to execute movements.
In mammals, the neocerebellum or cerebrocerebellum is superimposed on these two other parts. It is more voluminous in primates and especially so in humans. It consists of the cerebral hemispheres, is connected to the cortex and contributes to the coordination of voluntary movements. Among other functions, it ensures that when one set of muscles initiates a movement, the opposing set acts as a brake so that the body part in question arrives at its target precisely.
The cerebellum receives information from the sensory systems, the spinal cord, and other parts of the brain and then regulates motor movements. The cerebellum coordinates voluntary movements such as posture, balance, coordination, and speech, resulting in smooth and balanced muscular activity. It is also important for learning motor behavior.
It's a relatively small portion of the brain, about 10% of the total weight, but it contains roughly half of the brain's neurons, specialized cells that transmit information via electrical signals. The cerebellum is not unique to humans. Evolutionarily speaking, it is an older portion of the brain. It is present in animals that scientists believe existed before humans.
Neuroscientists at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine discovered that the cerebellum can transfer skill-based motor learning from one part to the body to another. This illustrates previously unknown plasticity between the motor cortex and the cerebellum. Notably, the motor cortex in the right hemisphere of the cerebrum controls the left side of the body. The right hemisphere of the cerebellum controls the right side of the body.
The primary goal of this study was to demonstrate the value of a brain stimulation technique called cerebral inhibition that is used to investigate how neural connections in the brain change as people learn new motor skills.
One part of the experiment, the researchers investigated whether cerebral changes were exclusive to learning a new task. Interestingly, when measuring the connectivity between the motor cortex and the cerebellum, the researchers found that cerebral brain activity did not change when executing a familiar task, but did change when learning a new task.
Cerebellar syndrome is a term used to designate manifestations of damage to the cerebellum regardless of origin. For example, if a patient with cerebellar syndrome tries to touch an object, the movement of his hand will begin late, then accelerate beyond what is normal. Braking also will be too late and inefficient so that his hands end up missing the object and going past it. This movement then ends with oscillations of the hand and arm.
People with cerebellar syndrome have problems coordinating balance and posture. They have an uncertain gait, spreading their feet more widely apart as they strike the ground. If they are jostled, the reflexes that compensate for imbalance overreact, resulting in oscillations of the body. These people cannot tilt their trunks forwards or backwards without losing their balance.
Hope you are now very informed on the cerebellum and the amygdala and their functions and human behavior. Our understanding of the function of the amygdala and cerebellum is still evolving, and we likely have much more to learn before we can fully catalog the activities of these complex structures.